Episode 39 here of the Bullpen. We are back. All-American game last week down in Miami. Pete, you, and Dane Poe were down in Georgia at Lake Point for the Prep Baseball Cup tournament down there. A lot of JUCO stuff last week. Last night we had the Chicagoland Fall ID. So just a lot going on right now, so I think we're going to try and do our best to recap that. But how are you guys doing? I mean, I know a lot of traveling last week for a lot of us, so kind of getting back into the swing of things here.
I'm good, Gavin. We still got some nice weather going on here in Chicago. I love it. I was looking at the 10-day, 15-day forecast this morning, and it's looking really, really nice. Which will be clutch here with playoff baseball coming, and hopefully, if we can hang on, the Cubs will have some games at home. That would be huge. They're making it way more interesting than I thought it would be. So I'm kind of keeping my eye on that. But no, Bears coming off a win. We got hockey coming up. It doesn't feel like hockey season yet with the way this weather is, but everything's good. How are you guys doing? How is travel? How is the events? How are we holding up?
Yeah, I'm all good. Travel's good. I'm finally feel like I'm catching up on my sleep and stuff now, so for me it feels good. You kind of brought up the Bears. I think we should just not talk about them because
I agree.
when we had things didn't go well, but we didn't say anything last week, I think, and we'll just leave it at that. But I think we just stay away from that the rest of the year, because maybe that's going to be our good luck charm. But yeah, you brought up the Cubs. Playoffs are coming up here soon. They clinched the wild card. What was that, like last week at least? They clinched the playoffs or whatever. And then I saw the Brewers officially clinched the division. I think that was also last week as well. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on. I walked outside this morning, speaking of the weather, and it actually surprisingly felt like kind of like a spring morning, honestly, not like a fall morning where it's kind of crisp and cold. It was kind of like that, at least down here in Bloomington, it's rainy, so it kind of felt a little humid, but like just a good spring morning. So it's kind of weird having the weather like this right now, but no, it's been good. How about you, Tyler
I'm all
and
for
Pete?
it.
You guys good?
Yeah.
It's pretty crispy up here, which I'm all for. I love the fall. Yeah, it's like it just brings me back to like golf season in like high school. We're just like getting out early and it's a little cold. Speaking of golf, we got the Ryder Cup this weekend, which is going to be unbelievable. So
It's
uh,
arguably one of the best events in all sports.
oh yeah, for sure.
I know there's probably a lot of people out there that aren't golf people, whatever, but the team camaraderie of it, and golf is such an individual sport, and then the countries playing against each other, and the dynamics now, like kind of the live guys coming in with the PGA Tour guys. So you got Bryson DeChambeau, and then too, like the whole captain with Keegan Bradley. Tyler, Gavin, I don't know how much you guys keep up with it, but like Keegan Bradley was named the captain and just has been playing incredible golf. Could have easily been on this team as a player too, but he turned it down. He's just gonna captain. It's in New York, it's at Bethpage Black, which I think is like an iconic golf course here in America. Um, it's going to be rowdy. Hopefully I haven't checked the New York weather, but I'm guessing if it's nice here, hopefully it'll be nice there. And
Yeah,
um,
it'll be nice.
and I was lucky enough to go to one of them back when I was in college. There was one in Louisville at Valhalla, and it was the coolest sporting event I've ever been to. The vibe in that place, the chants that go on, the pressure-packed arena that is, like it is so so cool. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm pumped, and I know Pete, you're pumped too. So
Yeah. No, I just think like there's already a huge difference with like Keegan as the captain. Like he's just the perfect guy for it. I mean, he like grew up playing Bethpage, first of all, which also makes it seem like he should be playing, but like I totally get why he didn't pick himself. But just like some videos that I've seen of like him trying to rally the troops, like he had a guy come and speak to them, and he was like a firefighter. His dad passed away in 9/11, like was one of the firefighters that ran in. It's like if anything's gonna hit them hard about like doing it for America, it's like stuff like that, especially being in New York. So he's just gonna, he's gonna be rallying those boys up, and I hope they come out swinging early.
yeah, Europe's gonna be
Can
good. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
can I
tough
ask
match.
you guys, since you guys are big golf guys, what's like the reasoning behind him not choosing himself to play? Because I thought I saw some. Isn't that like super rare? Like,
Yeah.
don't most captains play?
Because it's just
No,
extra.
no, most
Well, no,
captains
they
don't
don't.
play.
They don't. Yeah.
Okay,
Most
but
of them are kind of
it,
like done playing. They've been around the Ryder Cup a long time. They're veterans. They understand the room. They know how the event works.
so it was
Um,
just a shock because he's playing so well, and it's like,
exactly.
dude, you like belong on the team.
Well, what happened? Like, so if you watch the Full Swing documentary, like he kind of got shafted 2 years ago. So I think
Okay,
because of the publicity from that, they named him a captain, thinking he probably wasn't going to be good enough to make the team again. And turns out he is. So they kind of screwed him in a way. It's like because he's not going to pick himself. Like if he wasn't the captain, he's getting picked 100%. Like
gotcha.
100%, he's getting picked. But like not being, he didn't want to pick himself and then have to do both, captain and that. And then it's like if he plays bad, then it's like, well, I screwed that up because like I should have just focused on this. It's just a lot of like moving parts with
Totally
it. So
allows him to focus on just one thing
yeah, he
and
made the
just
right
try
choice.
to do the one thing
Yeah,
well.
he kind of got screwed though. Like he should be playing.
Yeah.
But no, I think if he wins this Ryder Cup, he's going to be like the captain moving forward. I just don't see how he can't be.
Yeah,
He's
we'll
like
see. I don't
such a
know.
perfect.
I don't know how that works. I don't know how many repeat captains they've had.
Yeah, I don't know. I know, like, well, Europe has Luke Donald again.
Okay.
Seems like they're gonna take that and run with it. So,
Okay.
I
But
would
yeah,
have
well,
liked to see Tiger. Tiger would be
that'd be
make the
awesome
team.
to see him
Yeah,
one day.
yeah.
Especially when Charlie's on the team.
I think they're
So,
gonna. Yeah, well, I think Charlie really wants to go.
does
Um,
he?
yeah. So
Well,
like, hopefully Tiger's there.
this is like the whole thing about the Ryder Cup too is like home field advantage is crazy important. And the US has not been winning in Europe. So like we got to get it done in the US this year and hopefully carry some momentum to the next one, but there's really good players on both sides and it should be I want it to be close because I do feel like a lot of them have been blowouts recently, but that's probably enough Ryder Cup talk. But no, it should be a great weekend. I know a lot of people that are into college football are talking about the college football slate as
Yeah,
well
Saturday's
being
gonna
really
be good.
good. Yeah,
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 so I know before this call, you guys were kind of going through some guys that are, maybe had some good minor league seasons or are still in the minor leagues and they're still playing right now. I know you guys maybe made a list of guys to talk about. If you want to mention anybody, feel free to get in there.
yeah. I was just digging. I mean, we were kind of just brain dumping here before this call, and a couple names I had seen randomly pop up. Like I think Ryan Sloan won the Seattle Mariners minor league pitcher of the year. That is a pretty dang prestigious award when you think about all the arms that are in that organization and any organization. Um, so that one kind of blew me away. Another one that I've been kind of eyeing is Sam Antonacci. You know, from Sacred Heart Griffin, played at Heartland, won a national title with them, then goes to Coastal Carolina, like leads the country in runs scored. Now he's with the White Sox. He was at three different levels this year. Was up at high A for a while. Now he's at double A, and that team's playing in the playoffs. And just what he's doing at double A to me was kind of mind blowing. He had a 430 something OBP. He's almost walked more than he struck out. He's hitting almost 300. And in like 46 games, he's stolen 21 bags. So really impressive stuff out of Sam Antonacci. Like he's always hit when we've seen him. He's always been a good baseball player. But man, the 21 stolen bases at the double A level, guy can run the bases. Like that kind of shocked me a little bit. He was always, an above average runner, but he was never a burner. Um, so those were a couple names I had. I don't know if you guys saw any other names that were floating around.
Yeah, it inspired me to dig on a friend of the podcast, Owen Murphy. For those of you that were listening way back then, one of our first guests we had on, but he's with the Braves, was coming back from Tommy John, came back on July 22nd this year, and in 7 starts, he posted a 3-0 record, a 1.19 ERA, struck out 34 guys in 30.1 innings, and posted a .69 whip. So that's awesome for Owen. Pride of Riverside, Brookfield out over here by me. So really cool stuff. Obviously, we're all rooting really hard for him.
Two more arms too, Pete. I don't know if you had a couple guys, but Jackson Kent, Lake Park, went to Arizona. I was just kind of randomly looking him up. He's in double A now with the Washington Nationals. So kind of climbing that ladder, that's pretty good there for the lefty out of Lake Park. And then Ben Hess, he was our number one ranked player his senior class. I want to say he might have graduated in 2020, but he's from Charleston, and he's in Double A with the Yankees and putting up ridiculous numbers. Like way less hits than innings pitched, and way more strikeouts than innings pitched, and like a 2-something ERA. So Ben Hess having a ton of success. Love to see it. He was uber talented in high school. Had 4 legit pitches in high school and a workhorse frame. To see that carry over to Alabama, where he was a stud, and now with the Yankees is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring up anyone new, but that whip for Owen Murphy is like, absurd. Like a .6. Like I don't know if I've ever seen one that low. That's insane.
That's like our first team All-State candidates for the IHSA, and their whips aren't even that good.
Yeah.
And he's doing this in pro ball,
Yeah,
coming
it's pretty
off
nuts.
an injury.
Drew, I know one guy you mentioned earlier too was McCade Brown, the Normal
Yeah.
West high school grad, a guy we've talked about a little bit, just having made his debut a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now, with the Rockies. But last night, I believe it was against the Mariners, he threw 5 innings and struck out 10, only allowed 1 run. So it looks like he's kind of starting to maybe get in the groove here. So pretty cool to see there.
It's dynamic stuff. If you're striking out 2 guys an inning in the big leagues, as a rookie, man, McCade, that's awesome. We're watching. We're cheering for you. Keep it up, because the Rockies need it too. So especially going into next year.
Yeah.
Outside of pro ball, yeah, like one thing I noticed, I love it, like these colleges and their falls are getting underway, or kind of like right in the middle of most of these fall seasons for these D1s. The schools that put out a lot of graphics and stuff on their inner squads, whatever it may be. Cincinnati caught my eye because there's a couple Illinois guys there that are freshmen, like Enzo Infelice. Looks like he's at the top of the charts of like all their exit velocities that they're putting out from either BP or scrimmages. Like I don't know exactly what it was, but then Connor Blue from O'Fallon, they had some like pitching leaderboards velos going up, and I saw he was 95 plus for them so far this fall. Brandon Menser was 92 plus. Brandon Menser's from down in Southern Illinois as well. Just really cool to see these guys kind of like flourishing at such a young age at these schools. Ball, they're right in there, man. The Reds are right. The Cubs are helping them. The Cubs let them take 4, and now
Well,
I mean, the Cubs have
you guys
to beat the
should
Mets.
you guys should have helped by winning last night,
We
and you
need to
guys
beat the
didn't do
Mets.
that because the bullpen here at for the Cubs is what Drew always says. It's really bad. So thanks for
I
that.
never said it's really bad. Easy.
Um,
I just you could always use bullpen help. You could always use legit arms down there.
I don't know that I wanna get into the Reds. This is a team that has never loved me back in my 30 years of being alive, or almost 30 years of being alive.
Jesus.
It's a cool week. I should be embracing it more. It's a cool week because they're usually never
Heck yeah.
in it. But must-win game tonight against Paul Skeens. I'm not very confident. So we'll see. I mean, maybe the Cubs will help us out some more. Thanks for letting us beat you guys for 4 games over the weekend. That was cool, but it's probably just to break my heart here at the end of the week. So,
Well, they're in the
what I
mix.
got.
There's a couple teams in the mix right
there's
there.
my
like-
depressing Reds talk. So,
Well, you should be way more, excited than in years past. But
I would be way more excited if I was a new fan and I didn't know what's going to come at the end of this. But all that's going to come from this, in all likelihood, is just pain and more suffering for me. So I'd be more optimistic if they would have won last night. But the fact that you can't beat the last place Pirates at home, all the players are begging for fans to come to the game. It's probably the best crowd they've had there for September 22nd in probably 12 years, and you lay an egg against the last place Pirates. I don't know. I don't really know what to say.
It's one game. It's one game.
Well,
But every
there's
game
no
matters
spirits
this week.
about it.
Pirates are
Every game matters this week. So
you sound like you don't sound like a winner. You sound like a Bears fan.
Yeah. He does.
Well,
he does.
if you compare both franchises, it's probably a similar story.
Yeah.
You guys probably feel like the Bears have really never loved you back either. So It's a jaded way to think, jaded way to view the Reds right now. But I was all excited for last night. They ripped my heart out, of course, and then the Cubs don't help us out. So we'll see. They just have to finish one game better than the Mets and Diamondbacks this week. So we'll see.
There's a lot of like interesting storylines going on with the playoffs. One thing I had was I saw Kate Horton only threw like 3 innings yesterday. I didn't know if anybody knew why. We were at the event.
Tight back.
What's that?
Yikes.
Tight back?
Back tightness, yeah.
Okay. Because that wasn't good. I mean, that was a huge reason why, the Cubs had to throw like 7 relievers.
Well, when you've been carrying the team for 2 months, your back's going to get a little sore. So he's going to just have to.
That's a good
figure
point.
that out.
You would know from carrying teams in golf scrambles. But
no.
No, the Tigers, man. I'm keeping my eye on the Tigers because you mentioned like, okay, you guys face Skeens tonight. I mean, the Tigers had Skubal on the mound last night and they couldn't get the W. So that's a huge series over there in the AL. But
all right, one last thing, because
Yeah.
I'm curious what your guys' thoughts would be on this. So, and this isn't revisionist history, okay? This was something that was heavily discussed for Reds fans both Sunday and Monday. So they had an off day on Monday, right? The Reds could have moved up Hunter Green to pitch last night. It would have been normal rest, okay? He's coming off a complete game shutout against the Cubs. They elected, no, let's pitch him Wednesday night against the Pirates, against Paul Skeens. But they could have pitched him both Tuesday, yesterday, and Sunday, game 162, in a week where every win matters. You could have had your best arm, the face of your franchise, or one of the faces of your franchise pitched twice this week. They elected, no, we're going to keep him where he's scheduled to pitch. He's going to pitch against Paul Skeens Wednesday. This could be the last we see of Hunter Green this year, because if they don't make the playoffs, we're not going to see him again. He can't pitch Sunday. So as Cubs fans, okay, say this was Cade Horton, the roles were reversed. Would you have pitched Cade Horton last night or elected, no, let's give him 5 days rest and pitch against Paul Skeens?
I totally see where you're coming from. I can't speak on that. Like, I don't know the clubhouse dynamic. Does it send the team a wrong message by skipping your starter? It was Singer last night, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, is that the type of message you want to send to your team, that we're going to skip this dude? I don't know. Like, is Hunter Green dealing with anything? How many innings has he thrown this year? Like, he hasn't thrown that many. So there's so many dynamics that I wouldn't want to touch on, because I just think that's kind of you would know way more about the Reds dynamic than I would. There's just a lot of things I would have to ask and find out before I answer that question.
I just felt like it was a huge gamble not to try and throw your ace twice in a week where you need every single win. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
and now they have to win tonight.
Are they
They have to
throw
win
game
tonight.
163 if there's a tie? Like, is that because they'd have to play a game?
There is no the Reds own the tiebreaker with the Mets and the Diamondbacks, so there's no game 163.
Okay.
The only teams they don't have the tiebreaker over are the Giants and the Marlins. So if either of those teams somehow pass them, it wouldn't matter. But there is no game 163, I don't think. So
Okay.
I guess the thought process is you get in, he can pitch game 1, but it's like I'd rather worry about getting to the playoffs first, because we don't do that ever in my life. So I don't know.
And how's
there's
he
my
been throwing the
tangent.
ball recently? Like, Hunter.
Green, awesome.
Okay.
Like he threw his first ever complete game shutout. That would have been
how's Singer been throwing? I know he got dinged
good.
up last night. So
He's
like
been throwing good, but he didn't throw well against the Pirates all year. And it's like, who you're playing. Like, my whole thing is you have to win tonight. You're playing the Brewers this weekend, who, yes, I know they don't have anything to play for. The Brewers own the Reds. The Reds haven't beaten the Brewers in a series in, I think, 4 or 5 years now. That's like a real stat.
Let's go.
So my whole thing is you have to win tonight. Like, I think they have to go 4-2 this week to get in, because that means the Mets have to go 5-1, and the Diamondbacks would have to go 5-1 to get in over the Reds. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just not super optimistic. They had to win last night in my opinion because I don't think they're beating Paul Skeens, and then I don't think you're winning 4 in a row to close out the year. So
Well,
that's what I got.
the Cubs need to get it going. Not a good time to drop 5 straight games. But you get hot at the last. Shoot, you get hot the last 2 games of the season, and you get good
Yeah.
mojo going to the playoffs. Anything can happen. I'm gonna keep my eye on the Diamondbacks though. You got Alec Thomas down there. Always rooting for him. One of my favorite players to watch coming through Mount Carmel when he was back in Illinois. But no, a lot of fun stuff. Should be a great final week of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And then really quick, I just want to run through the Illinois State game stuff again, as we usually do with the amount of commitments. This week we have 75 commitments, we're up to 75 commitments, and Lewis Hammett, your boys at Lewis, are still leading the way with 7 commitments, and then Lincoln Land and Morton follow both with 4. So pretty cool there to see. I think Lewis continues to just keep getting more and more guys, it seems like.
Yeah, I saw they got Jake Newman, catcher from Lincoln Way East, catching Jack Bauer all spring. It's a good one.
No, I was just asking if Jack Bauer came like with him or not, but I guess not. Like, there's not a duo, so
Yeah,
Jack Bauer's
yeah.
still at
Trying to get
Mississippi State.
Jack to Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Be a
not
good
happening.
get for Coach Vusko over there.
It'd be all right. Yeah, no, it's a no for now.
So I know we found they're starting to kind of see some future games commitments trickle in. So kind of those big time commitments coming into the SEC schools and things like that. But do you guys want to kind of mention some of those players that have just recently committed?
I mean, I'll get in on Tristan Steger. Like, what an awesome rise for him throughout 2025. And maybe it wasn't a rise for him. Like, he rose for us. Like, we got to see him a bunch and perform at some, really high-level events, future games most importantly. And, yeah, commits to Kentucky. He was arguably the top performer on Team Illinois, like, along with Jackson Tucker, what he did that first day, hitting 2 home runs against Indiana. But man, Steger lived on the barrel the entire event. He's a left-handed hitting catcher, and he can stick behind the plate. You don't find too many of those guys. And then you factor in the bat-to-ball skills with the power. Tristan Steger has a chance to be right up towards the top of our class the rest of the way through and, maybe get pro interest when he's a senior. And I think that's a really good gift for Kentucky. And happy for him because he was fun to watch at the future games. He loves to play the game. He's highly competitive. He was a joy to have in the dugout.
I think he only got out one time. But we can stick with Kentucky here. Jimmy Anderson, who's over at Heartland right now, he was a Joliet West, what was that, 2024 grad, I think? Yeah, 2024. Yeah. I mean, he's just been absolutely tearing it up. He's one of the top JUCO prospects in the Midwest. And, getting rewarded with a commitment to Kentucky. I mean, he was actually drafted last summer, but turned it down. So we'll see what happens again this year. But he's been an absolute stud. Just tearing it up over at Heartland.
And he was a guy I kind of kick myself on. Like, I feel like we all really, really liked him. He was ranked high, but probably didn't push the chips in on him as much as I could have. Like, he was a guy I just remember when we were watching for the future games back in the day, and he didn't ultimately get, that invite. So to see him just every year, it seems like he's continued to elevate himself, and I know they're very high on him at Heartland. Happy for Jimmy as well. 2 Kentucky boys there with Steger and Anderson going down there.
And then I know we had a pair of Illinois commits from our future games team as well, Carson Trivellini and Wade Osment. And then Braylon Brown, a senior future gamer this year from Staunton, is going to Cincinnati. And then Dylan Huff is a guy that was at the future games last summer, and he just committed to Toledo as well. So some awesome commitments coming in through this week, or last week, I guess.
Gavin, real quick, Braylon Brown, I think you just misspoke. He was a future gamer just for Team Select this year. He wasn't a senior future gamer. Yeah. All good. I just wanted to throw that out there just so people weren't confused.
2027.
That's a 2027.
Yeah. Yep. With some really, really, like, you dig into his TrackMan metrics, there's a lot to like there with Braylon, and probably a lot more to come. But yeah, you mentioned Trivellini and Wade Osmond going to Illinois, like 2 Crystal Lake guys, kind of rivals. You got Crystal Lake Central, Crystal Lake South, both going to Illinois. Will be teammates down there. Happy for both of them. Trivellini was one of my favorite guys to have in the dugout on Team Illinois, and probably the smoothest, most natural infield defender we had on that team. Like I think he's a shortstop, at the next level. But shoot, if you have another really good shortstop at Illinois when he walks in the door, he can easily go to second. He can easily go to third. Like those actions will play anywhere. And he's only going to get better. Also a stud basketball player. So good luck this offseason, this winter, Carson, on the hardwood.
So I know at the beginning we kind of touched on that last night there was a event, the Chicagoland Fall ID. I know throughout the week we're going to have a bunch of content coming out for that event, stat stories, quick hits, spotlight tweets, things like that. But is there anything you guys just want to touch on for those of you that were at the event really quick just to get in on?
I can just brain dump here real quick, and Drew, feel free to hop in. But you and me were both with the hitters and the all the position players last night. But just 4 guys off the top of my head that I felt like stood out last night. Chase Gregonis, an infielder out of St. Francis, 2028. Nick Stowasser out of Crystal Lake South. He's an outfielder, 2027. And then 2 catchers, Drew Thomas out of Hersey. Both are uncommitted seniors. Drew Thomas out of Hersey, and then Rory Irwin out of Lane Tech. Those 4 guys I thought had good nights last night. But honestly, as a whole, I thought the event was really good. There weren't a ton of kids there, but it allowed us to, really be more. It's a more intimate setting with those guys, right? Where it'll be more one-on-one with them, and I thought it was a really good event. So, Drew, feel free to hop in.
100%. I thought the infield defense was one of the best I've seen at like an open showcase. A lot of really clean rounds and balls being thrown accurately across, and then a lot of really good swings. Like you meant that Nick Stowasser, man, he's physical, and he's got a clean swing, and he moved really well in the outfield. I thought the arm played good. Chase Gregonis was a guy I saw this past spring. He's a 2028, and he got time on varsity in a playoff game for St. Francis, playing third base. So they clearly think highly of him. And he's got an athletic frame that's going to get physical as he gets older, and he's a clean mover. I think Chase Gregonis just all around had one of the strongest days as well. But yeah, we'll definitely touch on more of that event in the coming days. We'll dig through all of our notes, rewatch videos, dig through Blast Track, man, all that stuff to make sure we have the best picture possible on these guys. But no, really, really quality event. And over there at Lee Fund Field, Wheaton College, just a beautiful venue. They got the lights going, so it was nice to have a fall midweek event in the evening. Beautiful weather, was not overly hot, was very comfortable. So yeah, it was a good event, Gavin. We've got a couple more coming up that we're looking forward to.
Yeah, and then so Tyler and I were down at the All-American game this past week down in Miami. Tyler and I were kind of doing a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, I'd say, like at the hotel, the stadium, locker room, just setting things up, making sure, like, kind of behind the scenes, the event was running well, trying to do our best. And but fortunate that we got to go down. It was an awesome event. 3 Illinois guys were down there representing, and Caden Wozniewski at 2027 from McHenry. Landon Tomey and Ethan Bass, both 2026s. Really cool event. On Thursday was like the player check-in at the hotel. Kind of came through. We handed them gear, got them set up with jerseys. A lot of the partners were there that were kind of handing out their products, kind of giving them some tips and advice on how they can maybe help them, things like that. Friday was the workout day, and then also a home run derby, but just your typical like showcase setting. BP, infield, defensive workouts, all of our athletic testing, things like that. And then on Saturday was the gameplay, and it was the 2026 class versus the 2027 class. So really cool event, but Ty, I'll kind of turn it over to you if there's anything you wanted to add. I think probably a big takeaway for you was Sean Casey, former Reds player, was the head coach for the 26s. I know that was pretty neat for you to see.
It was, internally still, I think 9-year-old me is still cussing me out for not, walking up to him and asking for a picture. But it sounds like, he was such a fan favorite that, hopefully he's back again next year. And maybe I'll work up the courage to let him know that I'm a huge Reds fan. But,
Don't
No,
let
it
him
was a
hear all
great.
the negative stuff, man. He,
Well, you know,
I was just
he
thinking
he
about
might
that.
he might feel the same because he's the mayor of Cincinnati, is what they call him. So he might feel the same. Awesome event. It's crazy how much better it gets every single year. Gavin, we've been lucky enough to be at all three of them so far. And I was kind of thinking about that the other day, like how far it's come from when it was in Milwaukee in 2023. The last 2 years have been in Miami. Like I'm thinking about Milwaukee a couple years ago, Gavin, like at the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
we had like basically two rooms.
Yeah.
And this year we had an entire floor of a hotel, all dedicated to players' lounge, a room where they get all their gear, staging areas to store all the stuff they get. Mizuno had their own room. It's so crazy to see how far it's come. I want to shout out like Sean Duncan, Steve Nielsen, Matt Yarber, Chris Jelinek, Kurt Saberi. I mean, the details in the hotel with like our branding and our signage was incredible. Like the 14th floor was all dedicated to this event at the hotel, and like there's a sticker on the 14th floor button of just our logo. Like in every single elevator, we had signage in every single elevator. They hired a muralist to design a mural just for this event, which was kind of like the centerpiece for this year's All American game. So, man, I just on the details, it's incredible. Gavin, I thought like we're sitting with Dunk Saturday night, and you ask him, you're like, in 2005, did you ever envision like this being what the company is now? And he's like, no, like it's crazy to see how far it's come. So really cool experience. I'm glad, we're obviously fortunate we get to go down and help put on that event for the nation's best players. So yeah, that's what I got. I love going down. Excited for next year.
No, I was just gonna say that the button looked really cool on the
Yeah.
hotel. Like I saw someone posted that. It was such like a little detail, but I thought that was like really really cool.
I think for me that was like, so basically I guess to add too, on that 14th floor they had like obviously your typical painted walls or whatever, but they had someone come in and essentially put wallpaper up of the muralist that designed all this stuff literally on the entire floor. It was I'd never see I didn't know that was even possible to do. But when we saw that the sticker on the 14th floor had like was on like on the button or whatever, it's like such a small detail, but for me that was like holy cow, like they literally thought of everything. And then on top of that, I forgot about this, Tyler, while you were talking, but uh we were in Tyler and I were eating dinner together one night in our room, and we were just scrolling through Instagram. I think it was after the workout day, and the national account had posted a video of like the workout recap essentially. And Tyler just got the volume on listening to it, and he's like, "Wait a sec, is this like song specific to this event?" They had ended up talking to Mike Salucci, who's the vice president of I think social media is his title. They hired a rapper to make a rap about the event. So they were talking about like Shooter Hunt. I think they talked about Dunk in the song. It was crazy. They talked about like people from last
I
year.
gotta
Just,
get a copy of this song. I gotta listen to this thing.
it was pretty good.
Well,
It was pretty good.
I'm glad you name drop Shooter. That's definitely somebody else I need to shout out because I believe he is the figurehead in getting these players here. The game was incredible. The talent is no joke. So just wanted to shout out Shooter as well. Same with Salucci and obviously Soroka as well. Like our national guys at an event like this are like second to none. So just wanted to shout out those few guys too.
You mentioned the players, and just I was not there, so watching it from afar, at the All American game at the Super 60, like you're gonna get guys that have huge velo, right? Like that's why a lot of these guys are famous. They throw very hard, but what I loved was I saw so many nasty off-speed pitches. Some of the changeups that we were highlighting on social media, some of the breaking balls, and maybe they were still throwing for the radar gun, but like those guys have real weapons and real secondaries and real arsenals, and that was cool to see just on the social media side.
And I think for Tyler and I, just as young, people in the scouting world, you're always trying to learn. Going to an event like this it really just helps you then go back to an Illinois event and really, like, when I grade these guys out at an event, what is this player actually? What is their future actually going to be? Are they comparable defensively to, one of the top kids from the entire country at shortstop? Do they move the same? Do they have a good arm like these guys? Like, it's super helpful from that perspective too. You just get to learn a lot. And I think talking about Caden Wozniewski at the event, I know we've all been super pumped about him, and obviously the velo and the stuff is awesome, but we've always liked the compete and the competitor factor that he has. And he went out and just shoved. Like, he threw 3 fastballs by one of the top 26s in the country and struck him out. And I think it just goes to show, like, hey, we've been on this guy and we believed in him, and he really continued to show on a national stage against the best in the country that he means business, and he's a legitimate prospect in that 27 class.
You mentioned it, like going down and seeing those players and being young scouts. Like, that's what it's all about. You have to see what it's supposed to look like. Whether it's going to big league games, college games, pro ball games, but you're seeing the best players in the country that'll all be, looked at heavily for the draft coming up. And then you also have to see average players. You have to see good players. And I think what makes our job so unique is, like, these pro scouts, like, they're looking at, 18-year-olds that are coming out of high school, and then they're looking at, like, college aged guys for the draft. Man, we're looking at young guys and trying to project on them, 8th graders, freshmen, sophomores, and then also these seniors, these JUCO guys we're seeing. So it's hard. It is a hard dynamic, and that's only going to help you moving forward, is seeing guys like that. It'll make it a little harder going back and seeing some non-All-American guys as well. But that's going to be so good for calibrating your eyes.
And Tyler, one last thing I just wanted to mention about the event, and then feel free to get in on anything you may have. But just shouting out the partners that were there, because, I mean, really, like, they helped put on such an awesome event, give out so many items really to the players, like the Phorm guys. I know we've talked about them a lot, but, like, you give them a bag, like a Phorm bag full of protein powder. I didn't look in the bag, so I don't know. So I'm just assuming it's their protein powder, like creatine or something, and, like, their beef sticks and their snacks. Like, Mizuno's there giving out all kinds of bats, gloves. Like, they bring their guys from Japan that string the gloves, and they get it formed to, like, exactly how the player wants it. Twin Tack was there with their grips, and Camwood Bats is there. Versed Cancer was there raising money for, I think it was pediatric brain cancer, and they brought a kid right now that has cancer, and he got to come to the event and throw out the first pitch and hang out with the players, and even just seeing how, like, the kids interacted with him was just super cool. Dick's Sporting Goods, I know, was giving out like $100 gift card. So I don't know, I just thought it was really cool and kind of special to see some of these other companies also helping out and kind of really making the event awesome for these kids too.
Totally, and I got to throw a few more shout-outs because, I feel like that week is such a blur, and, like, I'm trying to remember everything that goes on from that weekend, but, like, a few more people to shout out, like Cullen McGowan, our tech guy, was integral last weekend. Todd Fine, Adam Brass, Anna Enzyme, like, coordinating all the gear these kids got. Like, I don't know if there's a way to go back into, like, our national accounts Instagram story, but, like, these kids would, like, post what they got, and, like, all of the stuff that they get at an event like this, it covers, like, their entire bed of the hotel. Like, it's insane, the amount of stuff that they get, and just seeing, like, how appreciative, like, some of these kids were to be there, was really cool. And then one last thing I want to shout out is the awards banquet. Our guy Landon Tomey was awarded the leadership award for this event, which is something that I believe was pulled by all the coaches, players, partners as well. Hey, who exemplifies, like, the best leadership around here? Who's interacting the best with everyone? And Landon Tomey won that award, which, I think probably doesn't come as much as a surprise to us on this call, being around Landon for a few years now. So just want to shout that out. He's a great kid. Loved being around him last week, as well as Caden and Ethan. So really proud of the Illinois guys we brought down.
Yeah, I think that'll kind of wrap up the event, Tyler. I mean, I feel like trying to encapsulate everything there. I think that kind of covers it. I mean, our Illinois guys that showed well. It was awesome to see them down there. So we can kind of move on, I think, to the next thing. But Hammett, I mean, you were down in Georgia with Dane Poe this past weekend. I know a lot of Georgia guys, so maybe you don't have to get into players, but just maybe kind of overarching the event, some maybe quick takeaways or something from it.
Yeah, no, we were down there for the PBR Cup, kind of the big one at Lake Point in the fall. So that was really cool to see. My first time being there. It's kind of, they were saying it's like similar to like the NPI. So like a lot of like scout teams were there, like teams with like multiple, states being represented. So I actually did get to see a couple of Illinois guys and even a Wisconsin guy. Logan Hagman was there for Wisconsin. He went yard oppo in front of me. It was pretty awesome. That kid's just got pretty stupid power to all fields. And then from Illinois, we got Landon Meisenbacher. He showed well for me. Dane Haraski showed really well for Dane. And then Nick Shiroto from Edwardsville. All three of those are kind of the Southern Illinois territory. So we got Landon at Pleasant Plains, Dane Haraski at O'Fallon, and Nick Shiroto at Edwardsville. They were all playing for Specs. But no, it was awesome. Like you don't typically get to see kids like from that area, like that region, right? So it was kind of cool to compare. Like, this is what the number 50 player in Georgia looks like, and I was like, this kid would be like top 20 in Illinois. It's just like silly. But yeah, the talent was awesome. The weather was good for Lake Point, not terrible, but I had a ton of fun. I know Dane did as well, but yeah.
No, I'm sure. I mean, like kind of like we mentioned, it's for us being there in Miami, it's a good learning experience for scouting. I'm sure like an event like that too, just seeing all those guys is a great learning experience for you, and especially Dane as someone really kind of getting into this world. But then we also, I mean, I know we talked on the Chicagoland Fall Idea, but I know we had a tournament up at the Rock this weekend. I don't think we'll probably get into it a ton. Josh Fields, a guy that's been on this podcast, he was on there last week talking about the Puma Classic. He was kind of up leading the way at that event. So I don't know if there's anything, I know we were talking about it a little bit before. Is there any just quick nuggets from that event that we want to touch on or just kind of, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we were scrolling through Twitter. Like, I was trying to scroll through Twitter kind of just like and see what was going on up there. I thought the coverage looked really good. So, I mean, just a few guys that I saw, like Josh Zemer hit multiple home runs, according to the tweet.
Pete, I had him on my list too.
Yeah.
Like, people need to be on that. That right-handed bat, I think, is very real. Sorry to cut you off, but Glenbard East, corner infielder, really physical, and I just think he's a throwback hitter. Like, every time we see him, he's just hammering baseballs, and had a huge spring for Glenbard East as well. But yeah, sorry, I just had to get in there. That was a guy I had on my list as well.
Totally agree, and that's a guy that like 3 years ago, top pick was like, hey, this is a guy you guys should know. I remember he came to like that GoPro event and showed really well, and then from there he's just kind of taken off, and he just has done nothing but hit in front of us. Another one that I know that you like, Drew, Jacob Height from St. Lawrence, 2028. You actually sent his video into the chat, and you're like, this is pretty legit. Yeah, I really like the video as well. Really intriguing. Looks like he's got a ton of upside.
And what he was my first guy I was going to talk on here because you're spot on. I did like the video. It definitely caught my eye. We just released the 2028 rankings, and we bumped it to 50. We're going through everything we've seen. There's a lot of guys that we had little nuggets on here or there that maybe did not make the list. Like, he is the perfect definition of that for me. That's like, man, that's a good player. He's going to be in the rankings in the future. You look at the way the body moves, like the movement patterns, I'm really in on it. I think the body is going to, like the frame is going to get really strong. It's fairly athletic. It's fairly long levered and high waisted right now. So yeah, saw the video, made me go back, watch some old videos that we had on him. Like, he was at a scout day this summer. We saw him at a rock tournament this summer as well. And it would almost looked in the video I saw this summer, was like even more free flowingness in the hands pre-pitch, like a ton of rhythm. But I think the swing's really going to play. So yeah, I'm high on Jacob Height, St. Lawrence 2028. Had him on my list as well. So keep stealing them. I love it. We're on the same guys.
No, one of the best bats, or two of the best bats that were there actually. We'll go Chavi, Anthony Chavez, and then Ryan Wilberding. Just two guys that also just keep hitting like everywhere they go, every stop, every tournament, just all over the barrel. I know we had seen Chavez in Grant Park recently, and this was our first time seeing Wilberding in a little bit, I believe, but he was just all over the barrel. Looks like he got 3 hits in the nightcap. Yeah, just two bats. I mean, Chavi's going to Illinois. Wilberding's still uncommitted.
Wilberding, love the swing. I love the video. We just talked, I'm shouting from the rooftops about Josh Zemer. Like, they kind of remind me of each other a little bit. And like the way their swings work, they're throwback, they're up the middle, gap to gap guys, and they're both short and on top of the baseball. They're not launch angle guys. Like they are flat, direct, and they're back spinning balls to the middle of the field, to each gap. They're not the long around the ball, uphill, trying to lift, and I love it. Like it's throwback. It's very there's like some moxie, there's some, hitterish is whatever. It's a word you can use, but like they look like they are ready to rake baseballs when they step in the box, and I think there's something to be said about that. So no, Wilberding's he's a fan favorite of mine as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. They look like guys that you do not want to see walking up to the plate in a big situation in a game, just from past experience. But 3 arms that I had written down here. Russell Hangles looked like the velo was up a little bit from when I saw him in Grand Park, so he was up to 89. Just really like the way it moves. Maine South kid, high ceiling there as well. So
And he's a 2027. I think originally he got tweeted out as a 26, but yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right.
2027. Maine South. Maine South has some guys.
They do, yeah. So he's one to watch for sure. And then Henry Humes, he was up to 88, and he's advanced, 3 pitches with a really good changeup. He's uncommitted. And then the last one I had written down, Jack Postma, super soft, Illinois State gamer. He's a 2028, one of the top 28s in the entire state. It looks like his velo is kind of trending back up from where it was at the super softs. He's up to 87. So just 3 arms that I really like. It was good to see them all throwing well.
Josh Jones, uncommitted, threw well up there, was up to 89, but we've talked about him. He's a 2026 in the Bloomington Normal area, and he's one of the top uncommitted 26s in Illinois right now. He struck out 6 in 3 innings, so I thought he deserved a shout out. He's been throwing the ball well all summer, all fall. Gavin, that was a guy you kind of were on for a long time now. You saw him back when he was more like low 80s, and you really liked it.
Yep.
And then Brady Cleffer, 2026, looked like he hit a couple home runs this past weekend up at the Rock. He's at Huntley, committed to Wisconsin Parkside, 2026. So just 2 guys that, hey, the more guys we can give love, the better. So wanted to get him in there. One arm that Dane Poe saw down in Georgia that piqued my interest, talking about these 2028 rankings, a guy that didn't make the list. Dane Franks, a left-handed arm out of Orion. And I might be pronouncing that wrong. That's correct there, Gav?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
on
you're
it?
good.
All right,
You're
I
good.
love it. Love the thumbs up. So, no, left-hander that pitches in the mid-80s. Looks like the arm works, comes out, lower slot guy, but definitely a guy that we should be locked in on and following, and we'll make sure we go see a start next spring if he is pitching on varsity. So that was one that stood out to me. Another arm this one was up at the Rock, but Liam Nash, he was a future gamer for Team Select. He's up to 92. Like, he was showing some pretty easy velo at the future games, like 89, 90, kind of living in that area, but up to 92 this time of the year. You don't see that often. So that stood out to me as well. He's a stronger body too, like wide shouldered. And he's now going to be at Huntley going into this spring. But Liam Nash was one. Then 2 position guys. James Fiegelson, I thought was one of the better players for our senior future games down at Georgia in late July. He soon committed to UIC right after that, but man, he continues to show well. Like swinging the bat well, and then showing that he can really pick it. Like actions to play the left side of the infield, arm strength to play the left side of the infield. Really like what James Feigelson is doing at St. Charles East. And then Tyler and I have been talking about him for a long time, but Landon Clements like just continues to seem like he's doing it. McHenry, 2027 middle infielder, played second base this year. Probably going to be at shortstop this upcoming spring. But man, there's so much more to come in him. He looks young. He's so far from where he's going to be physically someday. And there's some bat to ball skills. He knows how to leverage the baseball, and he can run. He can really run. So that's a guy that stood out to me as well. Just continues to do it. So those were a couple takeaways I had from this past weekend, things that were crossing my desk. And yeah, seeing a lot of good stuff this fall. Like whether it's JUCO, our high school events, our other tournaments that are going on, like we are seeing a lot of good baseball.
All right, and then kind of one of our new segments here. Let's get into the hot list wheel. Let me spin it really quick and see what our segment this week is going to be, our topic.
Oh boy, let's put the pressure on. Come on.
So we are going to go. I had a gut feeling this is what it's going to be. This is going to be the commitment of the week. So have to do some digging on Twitter for who's committed, I would say. So commitment of the week.
Commitment of the week, huh?
That's what. Yeah,
After
that was
we talked about some commitments.
You want me to do a different one then?
Jacob Newman would have been an easy one for me. I already dropped him earlier.
Do you want me to go with a different one?
No, I think. What's that?
We have to like come up with a date, like what date to what date are we calling this?
I would just say,
like did it just have to be this past week?
Yeah, I'd say last week. Try and find one from last week.
Gosh, were there more than 10?
Yeah, we had a lot come through. It looks like, just looking through our Twitter and.
Can I phone a friend and call Thane Poe?
But yeah. While we're doing this though,
you should probably
go ahead.
Hemi, you should just call Coach Vusco.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting a guy every other day. It feels like. I mean, they're crushing it. Not only just with state games, but even I feel like I see non-state games guys going there.
Yeah, Nicholas Burnt was one that.
They just got one.
I don't believe was at state games. Well, Gavin, I know the one you're gonna pick, so I'm gonna have to steal it before you go. I think it's a no-brainer.
Go for it.
But yeah, what's the order here? What do we got?
If you want to get in there, go first. Yeah, all you.
I can't just steal your guy. I guess I will,
I'm
though.
a little. Actually, I'm not sure where you're going with this, so.
Oh, you'll know for sure once. But all right, if I'm going first, we're gonna go left-handed pitcher Ryan Olkey out of Rockridge.
Oh yeah, okay.
Rockridge had 3 really talented arms this past spring, with him and DeCarroll, I believe is how you pronounce it, but Carson DeCarroll, and then you got our guy Colin Schweigen over there as well. But no, Ryan Olkey emerged this past winter at the Peoria Winter ID, preseason ID, and loved the way he moved. Was like mid-80s at the event, and he is committed to Kirkwood Community College out there in Iowa, so I think that could be a really, really good fit for him. Have a chance to get some innings there at a young age, and I think the future is super bright for him. As he continues to get stronger, he's high-waisted. I want to say he's like 6'2". Kind of doing all this off the top of my head here, but there's plenty more to come in that frame, and I think the velo is only going to continue to shoot up.
All right, well, sticking on Kirkwood then, I'll kind of go on the same train as you. Jackson Aarons, a shortstop at East Peoria. He's a 2026. He just committed there last week, I guess, or maybe we tweeted it out yesterday, so I'm not exactly sure what date he committed, but he's just an infielder that I've liked for probably about a year now, maybe a year and a half. Just seeing him at some events and then seeing East Peoria in the spring kind of leads off for them. Just an athlete, really good basketball player too at East Peoria. So just excited to see how he kind of transitions into college ball. And again, like you said, Drew, I think Kirkwood will probably be a good spot for him. Hopefully get some innings right away as a freshman. Yeah,
I had not made it that far down my list to see Jackson Aarons, but I could see how you were surprised or like confused there on who I would pick. So yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Kirkwood, those are 2 good commits there for Kirkwood. They got into Illinois maybe a handful of years ago, quite a bit, getting some Chicagoland area players, but I haven't seen Kirkwood getting into Illinois recently. So that'll be interesting to see if that's any sort of trend.
What do you guys got,
I'll jump
Tyler and
in.
Pete?
I'll
Yeah,
jump
let's
in.
hear it.
We already talked about Jacob Newman, so I'm not going to talk about him, but I'm going to go Jalen Valise to Lewis. Just a dude I've been bullish on for a long time. Like, he's an athlete. They could probably put him anywhere. The infield class that they got gets me excited. Just like with who they got coming in, they got Coyle, Mickey Lotus, and now Jalen Valise, and they even have Carlos Otero there right now, could really pick it. He was a future gamer for us. But Jalen Valise, like, we got him ranked number 57 in the state. State gamer was on the pro case team. I could see that kid being a pro guy in a couple of years. He can really run. He can change the game on the bases with his legs. And man, I've seen him. He's a shortstop, but I've seen him mess around and play some center field in IO, and he can go get it. He's fun to watch. So that's who I got.
Well, on the Lewis train, that's not where I'm going. But Hammy, you failed to mention they're also getting my personal favorite arm. They're getting Jake Matisse. He committed to Lewis a few weeks back. This wasn't the topic then, so I never got to get in on my guy Jake Matisse committing to Lewis. But that's not where I'm going. For my commitment of the week, this actually happened. I want to say last night maybe. So I don't even know if we've officially tweeted it out yet. But Braden Robertson out of O'Fallon. This was a guy. He's committing to UIS, Illinois Springfield, and he had a huge state games in front of me. And this is a guy that Dane Poe was very high on entering state games. A guy he really liked this past spring, who seems to be a big time utility piece, can play everywhere on the field, right-handed hitter. So I think that's a really good get for UIS. So I'm going with Braden Robertson out of O'Fallon, 2026.
And then just a quick little backstory. The hot list comes out each week on the national website. It's a pretty cool story where basically we ask every single state director that we have within our organization and ask them, like, a question to a certain topic. So, for example, this week we're talking about like the best JUCO pitcher that our staff has seen this fall, whether it's at a tournament or a scout day, thing like that we've had. In the past, we've done like the best fastball from the spring. Obviously, here in Illinois, we went with Jack Bauer, but just kind of a weekly story that we put out, and that's kind of what we're going off of here. We're trying to do our own little version on the podcast, so just to kind of give a little more backstory to that story as well. And just, again, kind of a rundown, we talked about some of our fall events that we had last night, our first one of the fall, the Chicagoland Fall ID, but we've had a lot of JUCO events. I know myself, I was down at John A. Logan, Kaskaskia, Ren Lake, and Sick with Hammett. What was that, 2 or 3 weeks ago now? But we've had quite a few since then, so I think we still have a few more on the board coming up here in the next couple weeks. So I don't know if there's anything you guys want to touch on with the JUCO Scout Days really quick, or I can keep
No,
going.
you're spot on.
Yeah.
We've ran through a bunch of them. We're probably like halfway through because we got College of DuPage we're doing tomorrow. We've got South Suburban. Let me just see my sheet here. Yeah, Lincoln Trail and Vincennes will do. And then there's also still a couple more, a few programs that have reached out recently. So, if you are a JUCO program out there and you're interested in having some sort of scout day, let us know. But I love it because all these Illinois JUCOs, like they crushed a lot of Illinois high school players in their recruiting, and get to see some of these guys make jumps and see how they, are 2 years kind of out of high school and what they've turned into.
Yeah, and just kind of looking at like our October events, just really quick, want to run through them. We have our Unsigned Senior Showcase for 2026 uncommitted prospects on October 5th. The St. Louis Fall ID down there in the St. Louis area. It's at I think it's called BG Arsenal Ballpark now on October 8th.
Yeah, that's quite the name change.
Yeah. What was it?
Used to be GCS.
Yeah, GCS. Yeah, okay. And then on October 12th, the Class of 2027 Showcase, and then on October 19th, the Underclass Showcase. Those last two, I guess the unsigned, all of those events outside of St. Louis are at the max, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah, they're all at the max.
3 Sundays in a row in October. Hopefully we can get a look at some guys here before the off season, before you put the bat and glove away and just hit the weight room. We'd love to see as many guys as possible. But yeah, we had a really good kind of start to our fall last night in Carroll Stream at Lee Fun Field, and look to see plenty more here this fall. We got plenty more baseball to go before guys should be shutting it down at the end of October and getting into the winter.
Yeah, and we kind of mentioned it earlier, but the playoffs coming up here. They start next Tuesday, September 30th. A lot of commitments coming through. I think, starting to see some of those future gamers commit. So maybe these next few weeks, next few months, we're going to start seeing a ton pile up along with our Illinois State Games event. And then, events coming up this October, a few more fall events before we kind of wrap it up for the year and prepare for our preseason ID events and summer. And before you know it, it's going to be future games and state games, and just it all moves pretty quick. So finishing up there. But, next week, what do we have next week? Anything pressing to touch on, and what we'll maybe talk on next week?
As you were talking about our schedule, like one event I'm really excited about, and Shooter mentioned it the other day on the national call, but like we're already now turning the page to think about the Super 60. And like I love that event. It's in Illinois. Like it should have good Illinois representation. It gets harder and harder every year because of the how national we are now and where guys come from for the Super 60. Like before it used to just be basically like Illinois or the Midwest. But I'm excited for the pro case. Like our pro case that we run basically the week before the Super 60, we try to keep a spot open for the Super 60. It gets better every single year as far as the talent that's been coming and also the pro scouts that have been attending. So I love that event. If you're a 2026 committed, like looking for something to shoot for, aim for coming out of your winter, like that would be one to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to mention, and we'll have JUCO stuff the rest of the fall, all through October. We'll have a couple tournaments still left here at the Rock Rantoul, and there's the JUCO event up at the Rock October 3rd and 4th as well. Should be a good region. Is it Region 24 or Region 4? I think it's Region 4. Region 4. They'll do a big event up there at the Rock that we'll be covering as well. So plenty more action to come. And then, shoot, Gavin, once we don't have a ton of events and stuff, we need to start thinking about getting some interviews on and maybe some coaches and see about going down that avenue again.
For sure. I always think it's interesting to kind of pick the brain of some of these coaches, recruiting coordinators, whatever they are. Same thing with the players, too. Like, I think when we had Owen Murphy on last year. Shoot, who else did we have? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm blanking on who we are.
Player-wise, I don't know.
Was it just Owen? Was Owen the only player we had last year? Either way, it's just interesting to kind of get into it with them. Just see like a different perspective now from them in high school, talking about them as a prospect, but just more like how they're doing, what it's like, the struggles or the grind that they have to go through. It's super interesting.
Hey, I'm gonna throw another shout out because it's Illinois baseball involved, it's high school baseball involved, but the IHSBCA convention used to be in Lombard at the Westin, I believe, every single year in like mid-January. It has now changed, so the date is coming in early December. And one of the reasons I think they maybe changed the date was a chance to get better speakers and stuff for the event. It's not right before the D1 season starts up and all their guys get back from school and all that. So take a look if you are interested. They have a great lineup of speakers this year set up, ready to go. Should be a really, really good convention. I know we'll be there. We're there every year. Last year we were interviewing high school coaches, so hopefully we can do much of the same. But this year it'll be in Naperville, but check that out, December 5th and 6th. And yeah, get as many, hopefully there's some travel programs out there that maybe listen to us, but, as many people that come to that event can learn the game, can hear from these awesome speakers, I think the better. And then come check out our little booth we'll have set up as well.
Yeah, well, that will wrap up episode 39 here. Appreciate you guys listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Spotify and Apple.
You better click that subscribe button. We need to hammer that thing, okay? Tell your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your friends, your girl. Make sure we're hitting that subscribe button. Really appreciate it, and thanks for listening.